Hey you, hey, it's me, sexologist Shamyra, and you are joining me for another conversation on the green couch with sexologist Shamyra. So today I'm going to be talking about sex. You guessed it, right? But most importantly, is your sex life ruining your relationship? I know many of you are thinking, well, Shamyra, how in the world can my sex life ruin my relationship? Especially if I'm not having one. So, let's get into it. First, we need to talk about what sex is. Often, when people think about sex, what comes up for them is penis and vagina. That's it. Most people see and think about sex in terms of what happens with a penis and vagina. That is our number one mistake. Only seeing sex in terms of genital use. You have a whole body. I tell people this all the time. You have a whole body. Why aren't you using it? That is one of the main conflicts that many couples have. Sex. Either someone feels like they're not receiving enough sex, they're not having enough sex. And one of the most undiscussed conversations about sex is whether or not people are enjoying the sex they're having. There are lots of messages we receive about sex that says the more we have sex in our relationships, the better off our relationships are. And we know that that's just not true. It's actually the opposite. The better you are connected outside of the bedroom, the better your sex will be. Because usually if you have a great connection outside of the bedroom, you're comfortable, there's vulnerability, you're having the right types of conversations, and that transfers into the bedroom. So you're not timid to ask for more, and you're not guilty for saying no. Let's talk about it. So, think about a time when maybe you wanted to have sex and your partner didn't, or you didn't want to have sex and your partner did. What did that feel like for you? For some people, they say, I felt guilty, I felt ashamed because I felt like I was rejecting my partner again. And the partner who gets rejected, they get tired of initiating sex because rejection hurts. They often begin to feel inadequate. They start questioning themselves. They start questioning the relationship. Like, is it me? Are you cheating? Do you not like me? Do you not love me? Do you not want me? I know I have some great sex, so what is the problem? That conversation is often not had. The what is the problem conversation, that is the conversation we need to have. Sometimes the conflicts sound like this. You never touch me. You only touch me when you want to have sex. Or, every time I want sex, you're tired, you're sleepy. You always tell me no. So those two words, always and never, every time you say those words, you take your relationship a step back. Because that causes your partner to now become a little defensive, and now they have to prove that this isn't always and never. So we need to focus on reframing that. But if we even go a little deeper into that, we need to figure out, why is sex something that is an issue, and is it ruining your relationship? There's absolutely nothing wrong with declining sex. There's also nothing wrong with wanting more sex from your partner. The issue comes in when declining sex and wanting sex becomes frustrating. It becomes a source of frustration in the relationship, to the point where I don't even want to be around you because I know this is going to come up and I don't feel like arguing about it again. And in the back of your mind, you might be thinking, you're not even doing it how I want it to be done. Or, I wish you would take me out on more dates and you don't do that. And you might even say that out loud. Like, We barely go on dates, is sometimes how that comes out. Or I wish you would take me more places. Or I wish you'd talk to me. And the response sometimes is, we do talk. We do go out. But we're not really asking for what we want. And sometimes we want our partners to just know. Like, you should know. Because we've been together for so long, you should know what I want. I'm tired of asking for it. And the conflict continues. Sexual frustration is a real thing, y'all. It's very real. And it's something that's talked about with friends often or no one. Because people generally don't want other people to know that they're having sexual problems, because we've been socially conditioned to believe and to think that if we're in a relationship, 1, we're supposed to be having sex. 2, we're supposed to be having it when we want to. And 3, it's always supposed to be good. And those are just myths. And what is good sex anyway? But first, again, we have to talk about what is sex. We know what sex isn't. It's not just penis and vagina penetration, or as I always say, the first 17 seconds of licking and sucking that happens before penetration, or before whatever type of sex you have happens. It's not that. That can be a part of it, but it's not just that. I like to describe sex as I describe it in my book, Use Your Mouth, Pocket-Sized Conversations to Simply Increase 7 Types of Intimacy in and Out of the Bedroom. I describe sex as something that can be a mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, erotic connection that is shared between those involved, which means sex can be a lot of things. Like I said earlier, you have a whole body. Why aren't you using it? So, if you think about your sexual relationship with your partner, think about what you want sexually. Think about what you're not getting sexually, and talk to your partner about it. I'm going to give you some questions later on how you can talk to your partner about it. But sometimes talking is difficult, especially about sex. You might be listening to this thinking, wow, I've not ever talked about sex to my partner. Or we rarely talk about sex, or we talk about sex all the time, but how can that ruin our relationship? Well, if there's some sexual frustration going on, you might begin to build resentment in the relationship. You might begin to be very defensive towards your partner, very passive aggressive towards your partner. You might be using sex as a bargaining tool in the relationship. And usually a lot of times when people are sexually frustrated, it's because they are not having the sex that they want, but they don't really know what to do about it. Sometimes people worry about their performance, and that definitely will ruin the relationship, especially the sexual relationship. So if you're worrying about the performance over the pleasure, sometimes that looks like thinking in your head. Have you ever said, I keep getting in my head. I can't not get in my head. I'm thinking about what we're going to have for dinner tomorrow. I'm thinking about what I have to wear to work. If I'm going to wear makeup or not tomorrow. Do I have enough coffee? So getting in your head is another thing. But also thinking about, okay, what if I don't get wet enough? What if I don't have an orgasm? What if I don't get hard enough? What if I don't help them have an orgasm? And during sex, you might be thinking, how am I doing? Am I doing this right? Am I hitting the right spots? Do they like it? Do I smell good? Do I taste good? Is this good? So you see, all of those questions are questions that people get in their head about during sex, and it takes them out the game. So guess what happens? Self-fulfilling prophecy shows up. And guess what? You might not be as wet as you want to. You might not be as hard as you want to. You might not hit the spots because you're thinking about it too much. And that, my friend, will definitely ruin your relationship. Because what happens is you stay in your head often. And you think this is going to happen again. This is all going to keep happening. And you begin to project those feelings onto your partner. So if I don't like the way I'm showing up, I know they're not going to like it. And nobody is talking. No one is using their mouth. You're not talking about your frustrations. Your partner's not talking about their frustrations. And there's an elephant in the room. So, of course, I am going to ask you to use your mouth to prevent your sex life from ruining your relationship. We need to figure out what your sexual relationship is and what you want your sexual relationship to be. That is the reason why I created the conversation starter cards. The Use Your Mouth Sex and Relationship conversation starter cards are meant to help you have those conversations about sex and relationships that you might not be having. They help to increase the intimacy in your relationship, and you will definitely be able to improve your sex life because of the vulnerability that exists when you start having these types of conversations. Yes, I said the V word, vulnerability. That emotional riskiness that has to happen in order for you to feel safe with your partner, in order for you to feel safe enough to show them the parts of you that you're scared to show, the parts of you that you are afraid that if you tell them this or if you show them this, they might not like it and they might not accept you. And then what? Yes, that's what vulnerability is all about. That is what it's all about. Is what it's all about. Showing up raw is what vulnerability is all about. I'm going to say it one more time. Showing up raw is what vulnerability is all about. But, yes, there's a but. In order to be as vulnerable as you would like to, you need emotional safety. So you need a partner who's going to show you that your rawness is okay with them, is safe with them, and it's encouraged by them. So remember that next time. But if you want to improve your sexual relationship, or if you're worried that your having a partner who understands this is key. If you are ready to change your sexual relationship and prevent it from ruining your relationship, it's time to talk about sex. Yes, with your partner. And if you are unpartnered, you still need to have these conversations with yourself. The first question that I want you to begin to ask yourself is, if I were having the sex I wanted to, how would I know? How would you know if you were having the sex that you wanted to? And then ask your partner that, hey babe, if you were having the sex that you wanted to, how would you know? Okay? And then you want to ask them, how can we improve our sex life in the next 24 hours? Yes, the next 24 hours. If this sounds too hard for you, if you're having some cringy feelings, even at the thought of this, it might be time to talk to a sex therapist. A sex therapist can help you sort out your feelings about sex, about your relationship, and can help you and your partner get on a track that you like to be. This is a start. It's important to start having those conversations. If you'd like more conversations, don't forget to go on thegreencouch.com and order your Use Your Mouth Sex and Relationship Conversation starter cards. Until next time, y'all, take care. And this was another conversation on the Green Couch with sexologist Shamyra. Bye, y'all. Bye.